Most people think their career stalled because of office politics, or a bad boss, or bad luck. In 20 years of working with leaders across four industries, I've rarely found that to be true. What I've found is five communication mistakes that almost every professional makes without knowing it. And by the time they realize, someone else has already taken their seat. In this video, I'm going to show you all five, not from a textbook, from 2 decades of watching this happen inside boardrooms, negotiations, leadership meetings, and high stakes presentations. And more importantly, I'm going to show you exactly how to fix each one. Stay until the end, because mistake number five is the one nobody talks about, and it is the most expensive one of all. My name is Madhur Prabhakar. I've spent 20 years working across banking, sustainability, IT, international business, hospitality, and entrepreneurship. I've been CEO of a company with full P&L on ownership. I've built 9 businesses from scratch, and I have written a best-selling novel, which tells you I have seen both sides, the corporate world and the entrepreneurial one. In both, the pattern is the same. The people who rise are rarely the most technically brilliant, they are the most compelling. And the ones who stay stuck almost always have one or more of these five communication mistakes working against them. Let us start with mistake number one. You over explain in meetings. Here's what this looks like. Someone asks you a question, you know the answer, but instead of giving it, you give the background, then the context, then three qualifiers, then finally the answer. By the time you finish, the room has moved on, and someone else has already answered the same question in 10 seconds. Why does this happen? Because we are afraid of sounding incomplete. We think more context means credibility. It does not. More context means less clarity, and less clarity means less authority. Here's the fix. Before you speak in any meeting, ask yourself one question. What is the single most important thing I want them to know? Say that first. Everything else is optional. Clarity is confidence. Brevity is authority. The most powerful communicators I have ever been in a room with use fewer words than everyone else and are remembered the most. Mistake number two. You wait to be invited to speak. In meetings, in panels, in rooms where decisions are being made, you have the insight, you have the perspective, but you say silent, waiting for the right moment, waiting for someone to turn to you, waiting for an opening that never comes. And then the meeting ends, and you walk out thinking, I should have said that. Here is what they see from the other side of the table: someone without an opinion, or worse, someone without the courage to share it. Neither is the impression you want to make. The fix is simple but uncomfortable. You commit to speaking within the first 10 minutes of every meeting, not because you have something groundbreaking to say, but because you establish your presence early. The room doesn't owe you an invitation. Walk in anyway, even if it is just a question, even if it is just a reframing of something already said. Presence is a habit. Build it deliberately. Mistake three. People interrupt you constantly, and you think it is because they are rude. Sometimes it is, but most of the time, it is because how you are delivering, your pace, your trailing sentences, the way your voice drops at the end of a point. These are signals, and the room reads them as an invitation to jump in. A confident speaker holds the room between sentences, not by talking faster, but pausing deliberately. Silence is not weakness, silence is control. When you pause with confidence, the room waits for you. When you rush, the room fills the gap. The fix: practice ending your sentence with a full stop, not a comma. Let your voice stay level at the end of a point. Do not drop it. Do not rush into the next sentence. Pause. Let it land. Then continue. That single habit will reduce interruptions by more than half. Mistake 4: your ideas get credited to someone else. You know this feeling. You said it first, someone else repeated it louder, and they got the credit. And you sat there thinking, hey, there, that was my idea. This is not politics. This is communication. You had the idea, but you delivered it in a forgettable way. Volume, conviction, timing, these matter as much as the idea itself. Maybe more, because ideas are common, but the ability to make an idea land, that is rare. The fix: when you have an idea in a meeting, do not float it, land it. Use your name, use your framing, own the language. Say, I want to propose something specific. Not, I was just thinking maybe we could. How you say it determines who owns it. Remember that. Mistake number 5. And this is the one I promised you at the start. The most expensive one. You are better on paper than you are in the room. Your CV is strong. Your work is excellent. Your track record speaks for itself. But in high stakes situations, presentations, negotiations, leadership movements, you shrink. You become a different person, smaller than your CV, smaller than your results, smaller than you actually are. And here's the truth that nobody tells you: results get you in the room, communication keeps you there and gets you promoted. Your work opened the door, but your presence determines what happens next. And presence is not something you are born with, it's something you build deliberately with the right framework and the right guidance. The fix: stop preparing what you're going to say. Start preparing how you are going to show up. Your posture before you walk in, your breathing before you speak, your energy in the first 30 seconds, because the room decides in 30 seconds whether to trust you, whether to follow you, whether you belong there. Give them 30 seconds they cannot forget. So let us recap the 5 mistakes. 1. Over explaining when brevity would serve you better. 2. Waiting for an invitation that was never coming. 3. Rushing and losing the room to interruptions. 4. Floating ideas instead of lending them. 5. Being better on paper than in the room. None of these are personality flaws. None of these are permanent. They are communication patterns, and patterns can be changed with the right awareness and the right practice. If you recognized yourself in any of these 5 mistakes, you are not alone. Every leader I have worked with had at least one. The difference between the ones who changed and the ones who did not was one decision: to take it seriously. I work with senior professionals, founders, and leadership teams on exactly this: executive communication, strategic presence, how to show up at the level you are capable of. If you want to explore what that looks like for you personally, go to my Instagram at Madhur Prabhakar. Comment the word strategy, and I'll personally send you a link to book a free 30-minute call with me. No pitch, no pressure, just a real conversation about where you are and where you want to be. If this video was useful, subscribe. I put out new content every week on communication, leadership, and strategic thinking. Everything I share comes from real experience, not theory, not textbooks, from 20 years of actually doing this. I'll see you in the next one.